Whoever sees this, I beg you, please send someone to save me quickly. None of my friends made it, and if no one comes soon, I won't last much longer either. It all started with our summer break after high school graduation. My friends and I wanted to celebrate properly. Ming suggested we go to a resort in his hometown, saying there was booze, beaches, and beauties, everything we could imagine. He even said we'd love it so much we wouldn't want to leave. Ming was my best friend. We've known each other since middle school, and since this resort was on the island where he grew up, I felt he wouldn't lie to me. A week later, Ming, his girlfriend Anna, 2 other classmates, and I boarded a private plane Ming had arranged. At first, everything was fine, but suddenly we hit a bizarre thunderstorm. The plane shook violently. We were screaming and crying in terror. Even worse, one of the plane's engines failed. Luckily, we managed to crash land on a makeshift runway not far from the resort. "Is everyone okay?" I asked. "Just a few scrapes, won't die from it," one classmate said, "but I might need to change my pants." Anna was hurt more seriously. Her shoulder was dislocated. We treated her briefly, thinking we'd find a doctor once we got to town. The bigger problem was the plane was completely totaled. It would take days to fix, meaning we were stuck on the island. At that time, I didn't know the truly terrible things were yet to come. We took a bus from the runway to Ming's village, where the resort was located. On the way, I saw scarecrows stuck at every intersection leading to the village. Those scarecrows looked terrifyingly like real people. Even scarier, black liquid was oozing from some of them. I asked Ming, "What are those things for?" Ming said casually, "The villagers put them up. They think they ward off evil. They are made of straw and glued together with plastic. Nothing to be afraid of." My friends Little Ma and Ada even took photos with their phones, but I was so scared I didn't dare look at them twice. We finally arrived at the resort. As the staff led us to our rooms, I couldn't help but notice that apart from us, there wasn't a single other tourist in the entire resort. It looked dead and lifeless. I tried to ask a staff member what was going on, but he just glared at me coldly and walked away. I asked in confusion, "What is actually going on? Where did everyone go?" Ming said, "I just talked to the manager. There is a festival in the village this weekend, so most businesses are closed. They won't even let people on the beach." Anna was in low spirits because of her injury and complained about wanting to go home. Ming barely managed to comfort her, but the mood for all of us was dampened by the situation. Suddenly, strange music came from the street below. The festival Ming mentioned had started. We thought maybe joining the liveliness would improve our mood, so we hurried down to the street, but the scene we saw made us regret it instantly. A corpse that had just been carried out wearing a chieftain's clothes was exposed right there in front of everyone. A group of young men carried the coffin, followed by a large crowd of villagers. Some were singing and dancing, while others were crying hysterically and even cutting themselves with knives. Everyone participating in the parade had skulls painted on their faces. The street was lined with the corpses of the villagers' deceased relatives. The bodies were rotting and smelling, yet they were dressed in everyday clothes and propped up on chairs, looking like living people. The scene was so terrifying, I almost vomited. "What on earth is this?" I asked. Ming explained, "It's the funeral for the village chief. He passed away a few days ago." Just when I thought it couldn't get any weirder, something even more terrible happened. The parade suddenly stopped. Everyone turned to look at us, shouting crazily in a strange language, and started closing in on us, step by step. "Ming, what's happening?" I panicked. "I don't know, but we have to get back to the resort immediately." My friends and I ran back, but as soon as we entered the resort, we were stunned. It was empty. The staff and even the manager were gone. I ran to my room, and the sight gave me goosebumps. Inside every one of our rooms was a chicken that had been hacked to death. Blood was splattered everywhere. Anna cried out in fear. Everyone was dumbfounded. I shouted at Ming, "No, we have to leave here immediately." I went to get my luggage, only to find all our luggage was missing. Before I could get angry, chaos erupted outside. The ghost-like chanting grew louder and louder. We ran to the balcony and saw the villagers had stormed into the resort, everyone holding machetes and pitchforks, screaming and shouting. Ming yelled at us, "I don't know what's happening, but I'll handle it. You guys hide." The villagers entered the lobby. We hid behind a nearby table to watch the situation. Ming was whispering something to them. I couldn't hear clearly, but suddenly a man walked over and viciously stabbed a butcher knife into Ming's clothes. Ming's body twitched helplessly, and the others dragged him out. Anna screamed, "No!" instantly attracting the villagers' attention. "Run! Everyone, run!" I shouted, grabbing Anna and running. Little Moss slipped and fell. I could only watch helplessly as the villagers pinned her to the ground with pitchforks. I was scared out of my wits. Ada ran in the opposite direction, and they chased after him. Anna and I ran to the beach next to the resort. Luckily, a small fishing boat was docked at the pier. I jumped on the boat and pulled Anna up. Anna cried, "No, we can't just leave like this. What about the two of them? We have to save them, or they're dead meat." I didn't have time to argue with her. I hot-wired the fishing boat's ignition and drove away. By the time the villagers chased us to the beach, we were already far out. I breathed a sigh of relief, thinking we had finally escaped, but suddenly I felt a sharp pain in the back of my head, and then I lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I found myself tied to a wooden stake in front of a shrine, like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. I looked around. My friends were dead, except for Ming and Anna. The two of them were standing among the villagers, shouting and cheering like demons from hell. I roared, "Ming, what is going on? What actually happened?" Ming said, "I'm sorry, it wasn't personal. Our tribe needs outsiders as sacrifices to commemorate the dead chief and to ward off evil spirits. My task was to bring the offerings here, so I had to trick you all to coming." I asked, "So Anna knew all along too?" Ming said, "Yes, her task was to ensure you couldn't leave this island." I asked, accusingly, unwilling to accept it, "How could you do this to me? I thought we were best friends." Ming said, "It is precisely because I consider you my best friend that you are still alive right now. I begged them for a long time to try not to hurt you, but I can't say for sure what will happen after I leave." After saying that, Ming walked away. I couldn't believe everything in front of my eyes. I could only watch helplessly as they stuffed my dead friends into bags and made them scarecrows. I know that if no one comes to save me, I will be next.